everybody.
Okay, we're live.
Welcome, everybody. We're looking forward to, which one is this? The
Number 6.
The sixth of the series. We have 2 more next week. Really looking forward to sharing the session today. This is one of our favorite conversations. I'm just trying to get the other webinar going.
We're live on YouTube, just so you know what's happening. We're live on YouTube. We're just broadcasting on a couple of platforms at the same time. We're just also going live on the webinar, and that looks like it's live as well. Is it? Looks like it's coming up. Not quite there. It's coming. It's coming. But we'll keep talking to our friends on YouTube. Thanks for being with us. We are working on it. Technology. You need to mute that one.
Okay, there we go. I think we're there.
I think we're broadcasting. Looks like we are good in multiple places.
Okay.
Apart from online.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So here we go. For those of you who've been with us before, you know the format, fast and furious 15 minutes, sharing tips and principles that we found really helpful in the various, two real big chunks of experiences that we've had in moving to work from home before COVID-19 lockdown. Really. Fabulous. That's Sam confirming that it's all coming through. Great to see people from literally across continents joining us. Have to give a special shout out to my aunt Audrey, all the way from Jamaica, joining us for the first time. Great to have some of you who've been with us for the journey coming back. Wonderful. Essie's there, Patrick's there. Great. Lovely to hear from you all. Today we're going to talk about what's lovingly called love languages. Some of you might have heard about this before. And it really is about learning to communicate value and appreciation in ways that are meaningful to the other person. Yeah. Because we tend to do things the way we like to receive it.
How do we put it on the title? We said showing...
building emotional, strengthening emotional connections.
Strengthening emotional connections, absolutely. And that kind of captures it beautifully.
That's really what you end up achieving. Yeah. Because, fundamentally, we all want to feel just loved and appreciated for who we are, warts and all. That works well in honeymoon period or the beginning of any relationship where everybody is on polite behavior and P's and Q's. And then as time goes on and little niggles and irritations and all our idiosyncrasies start to surface, we're not that patient with each other anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. It seems like we almost forget to be nice to each other. I mean, that's clearly not everybody's experience, but for a lot of people, you get past the nice honeymoon period in a relationship, and all of a sudden you kind of settle down into grumpy old mode for a lot of people. But it's just not being nice on purpose.
And it might be a cultural thing. It's definitely a people thing that we find it so much easier to give constructive feedback or correct or do our responsible thing of helping people know where they need to improve. What we're really not good at all at on purpose, building that emotional connection, making people feel valued and loved and appreciated, really indulging in who they are and celebrating who they are, letting them know how special they are to us. And that's what we want to talk about today, because it's really, really important. There's a saying that we love, which is people go where they feel welcomed. That's the easy bit. But they stay where they feel valued. And that's as true for couple relationships as it is for parent-child relationships, especially when they get to the teen years. They become so alert to being told off and emotionally going through a really emotional, fragile time. And that's when it's really important to affirm them and let them feel valued and appreciated.
Well, just jumping in for a second there. What's really, really powerful and important in that statement there alone, people go where they feel welcome, but stay where they feel valued, is that if people don't continue to feel valued, guess what happens? They end up being drawn away to somewhere else where they end up feeling valued. Yeah. Now, this is not something that we do on purpose, but if by omission, if we don't make people feel valued around us, we leave them vulnerable to feeling valued and appreciated by somebody else. And guess what? They end up gravitating through no desire or anything like that of their own. It's just there's this need that they have to feel. We all have this need to feel valued and appreciated and special. And if we're not getting it from our loved ones or people at home, our special people at home, we get it somewhere else, we end up just gravitating very, very slowly to turn our attention to wherever that attention, that appreciation is coming from. So it's something that we absolutely need to be careful of. And I guess protect our relationships by making each other feel valued and appreciated. That's how you have people keep wanting to come back for more and more in a relationship.
And that's how you build the emotional connection. And I have to say two things here. One is there's a saying, what you hate, somebody else will celebrate. So don't overdose on the things that people might not be that great at. Think about the bigger picture and who they are and show value and appreciation. And I have to give another shout out to Aunt Audrey, who is also on the call with Uncle Johnny, and they celebrate their 45th wedding anniversary on Sunday.
45 years.
Wow. Now, how's that for an awesome track record? See? And I bet you they know how to show love in the love languages in ways that are meaningful to them. So great to have you on the call. Louise also saying hi. LaTonya saying hi. I know there are a few people on our YouTube channel. Yeah,
great having these multiple platforms. Yeah. Wonderful.
Keep the comments coming. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear how you're doing in your relationships in lockdown. But we're going to quickly share the love languages. So it's a powerful model developed by a guy called Gary Chapman. If you're on the call on Tuesday, same gentleman who did the languages of apology. And if you haven't heard that one, really encourage you to go and listen to the...
Either read the book, get the book if you can, The 5 Languages of Apology, or there are a number of different clips that he has on YouTube where he gives a little summary of them. And so you might want to go deeper and read the book. We had some feedback from a couple who were on the call saying, you know, how can we find out more about this? Yeah. Absolutely, go away, read the book, check out some of the things on YouTube. But
I was going to say, just listen to the 15-minute video.
But if you want to go deeper, there is a whole lot more out there to really help you understand apologies and forgiveness and so on. With the 5 love languages, though, or 5 languages of appreciation, that happens. Gary Chapman says he happens to like the number 5. He didn't go out looking for 5 in both cases, but it turned out that there were 5. And really, all that's saying is we all feel loved, valued, special, appreciated, all synonymous. We all feel really, really special in only one of 5 different ways. But what's interesting is, usually the people that we're relating to feel valued and appreciated in a different love language, he calls it, to our love language. And guess what? We all speak our own love language because it's native to us. It's our mother tongue. And that's the language that we speak. And we assume that the other person speaks the same language. So what do? We speak, shout. It's almost like the stereotypical example they give is of an Englishman, I think it's the stereotype, going on holiday, going off somewhere, and the people there, the natives of that land, don't speak their language. And what does the Englishman do? He speaks slower and louder, expecting they're going to understand. They ain't going to understand you. It's the same thing we do in love languages. We end up just speaking our language, and we try and really show as much love as we can, because that's how we feel, certainly in the early days of a relationship. But it can be water off a duck's back if the other person doesn't share that love language with you.
Yeah, and if we don't understand that there are actually 5 different ways.
Well, certainly there are different ways, and as it turns out, they're up to 5. Some of us have, we all have at least one. Some of us have 2 or 3 love languages. We can be bilingual or trilingual, multilingual, but there's at least one that we all have.
Yeah, which is
But there are only 5, so there is hope. It's not like you have to learn 100 languages. There are only 5 out there.
So what that means is there is at least one key way that we each feel most loved.
Correct.
And that's the way we look to receive love, and that's the way we give love. So a big clue as we go through the 5 is, what do you find yourself doing the most? It's probably a big clue about what your love language is. And also with the people around you, what do they tend to do the most? Because suddenly you'll start seeing what love's loudest language for them is. So the first one, in no particular order, because they're all equally important. And that's the thing to remember. As important as our language is to us,
absolutely,
their language is to them. And we tend to kind of ignore things.
Sorry, just jump in there for a second.
This is your favorite topic.
That was a big thing. Because really with the languages, we can all see our own language. We know it and so on. But if somebody has a language that is not yours, for me certainly, and I won't name names, but there was somebody out there who had a very different love language, and not one that I valued or at all. I kind of just dismissed it. It wasn't important to me, so how can it be important to anybody? And therefore, I didn't speak that person's language, and that person ended up feeling unvalued, unappreciated, unloved, because I wasn't able to show love in a way that meant something to them.
Yeah.
So really, really important that you understand that there are differences.
I'm just responding to some of the questions there. Apologies for the keyboard typing. Let's tell you the 5, because we're already up to almost 10 minutes. So the first one is words. And as a words person, I can absolutely talk to this.
It's the first one because it's hers, but there's no order. There's no order.
There's no order. All equally important. Words, people, literally, the words become the wind beneath our wings. We're very alert to words of appreciation, saying thank you, saying I love you, either verbally or written down. You look
good, you're great, all that kind of stuff.
Keep it coming, babe. Keep it coming.
All that stuff.
Those literally become the wind beneath our wings. It also means that people who are very alert to words of appreciation are also are not good at taking criticism, and John will tell you I'm still learning how to do that, because words go deep. Words are our love language. So if there are people around you who are always saying you look amazing, I like how you did that, well done on that, I love you, thank you, that's their love language. That's what they're trying to communicate, is love and value and appreciation, and that's what they need to hear as well.
And absolutely. So just very quickly on each of these love languages, speaking them fuels the other person. Not speaking them is a big withdrawal. We spoke about the emotional bank account the other day. Or doing the opposite, like in this case, criticizing would be, again, a big withdrawal. And so you need to be really careful with that.
And a key point there is, I thought, because I felt love through words, that John will feel love through words as well. Yeah. And I would say, hey, babe, you look great today. And he'd look at me like, but I haven't even shaved, and would feel patronized. And I, for a while, couldn't understand that until we understood love languages, that what speaks love loudly to me just doesn't register at all. So understanding the other person's love language is really important.
Absolutely.
Touch.
So touch is another one.
Physical touch.
This is physical touch. It is nothing to do with sexual touch at all. This is just cuddles, hugs, gentle touch, hugs, high fives. It's exactly. It's showing care through physical touch. And for touch people, it is paramount. It's what makes them feel really special, particularly hugs.
There was an experiment, just quickly, that they did in a library where the librarian would randomly touch some of the students coming in with the books and not touch others. And at the end, they interviewed everybody or gave them a survey or something. And those who had been touched felt that the library was great, the librarian was wonderful, the service was great, and it was a wonderful experience. Those who hadn't been touched didn't have the same level of experience. So really important. Quality time
is the most important language out there.
As you can tell,
you can probably tell that's one of mine. Quality time. Well, you want to talk about mine?
Well, it's about spending meaningful, one-on-one, uninterrupted time, doing something that's important to that person. It could be just sitting and talking and being able to finish conversations, especially if you're parents. The one thing that I must say is, a mobile phone to a quality time person, a mobile phone is from the devil, because that is somebody else interrupting their one-on-one time.
If you had to summarize quality time in a word, it's attention. It's all about giving this person undivided attention. That makes them feel special. Yeah. And the problem with mobile phones and so on and social media is, all of a sudden, everybody else is more important. When they're doing this, they're off in a different world with everybody else and leaving you out, and therefore you don't feel as appreciated. Yeah. So that's words, touch, and quality time. Gifts is another one.
Yeah, we can use the gifts is something neither of us really appreciated, but looking back, we understand that our older son Sam is very much a gifts person, and how we recognized this once we understood it was, even from he was, 3 or 4, if we'd be leaving the house and going somewhere and he was going to be home with one or other of us, he would say, wait, don't go yet. And he would run off and he would get paper and draw something and fold it up and say, here, take this with you so you remember me. And that's a brilliant example to just say, for gifts people, it's a tangible expression of love for them, whether you buy something, you make something, you pick something from the garden, the fact that you thought of them
And
and
did
something about
That's
it,
the key
that
thing.
and that's how they feel love. So telling them won't register as much, touching them might be nice, but it won't register as much. Gifts, and especially thoughtful gifts that mean something to them, really land powerfully.
And then the fifth one, and I'm conscious we are almost out of time. The time just goes like that. The fifth one is acts of service, which is all about doing things for people. This is about going out of your way to do something that makes them feel special. So it could be bringing them something, it could be making something for them, it could be doing something that they would otherwise have had to do.
They're real doing people, aren't they? They will be the ones who will offer to get the teas and coffees, to help to fix something, to just be hands-on and doing things.
And they'll be the ones who sit there and think, why does nobody else do this kind of thing for me?
And why is nobody helping?
Why is nobody helping? Absolutely. So those are the 5. We're kind of out of time, so we've got to be quick today, but those are the 5. Hopefully that makes sense and means something to you. And lands, beware of the blind spots. This is where you don't recognize the other person's love or appreciation language. You also have to be aware of what we call black holes, which is where you kind of think that their love language or appreciation language is the same as yours, and you end up showering them with love because you think that's going to make a difference to them. And of course, it means nothing to them because it just doesn't. They speak a different language. So you've got to watch out for that.
So know the 5 and just start observing people around you. What is it that they're doing or saying that are clues on what their love language is, so you can help them feel valued and appreciated. Let's put more effort into communicating love and value than to telling people off, because we're far better than that.
Okay, and then so for the next session, we're back again next Tuesday at 11 a.m. London time, that is, British summer time. And then we'll be talking about will and skill. I will say no more than that. This is all just about having the skill to be successful in your relationship and the will to maintain the relationship.
The relationship. So
sharing a model with you.
Thanks for all the comments. Yes, Essie, now I know what your love language is as well. There is a website. What's it called? The 5lovelanguages.com.
That you can find out much more about the love languages on there.
Yeah, Karen's online. She was asking that. Great question. Look forward to seeing you all next week. It's fast and furious. Huge love to my Jamaican posse, to Aunt Audrey and Uncle Johnny celebrating their 45th. What a wonderful track record that you set for us. 45th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary. Love from all of us.
Wow. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye, everybody.
See you again next week. Bye-bye.